God, I hate technology.
Starting off Monday on the right foot or left foot, something.
I didn't take a picture of this because you never take a picture of the really crappy stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm,
When everything was going on in Mexico, we were looking for gas and we thought we were going to die in the desert. There are no photos of that, right? Because our heads were in a completely different
right.
place.
Of
But
survival.
yeah, but over the weekend on Saturday, we drove for 8 hours to bring my daughter down to college in a rented car, which was great. Well, it sucked. I mean, the car
Yeah.
was great. It was fine. Yeah. And, we slept in a hotel, got up early the next morning and flew home. And, flying home, it was like an hour and a half in the air, something like that. It's excellent. We get out to our car, which is sitting in the parking lot of the airport, which is the local little airport, Allentown, Bethlehem, blah, 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 whatever it's called. And we had parked it there because, of course, we drove there to get the rental car on Friday. So we left our car at the airport. So the car was there for like 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I start the car, and a low tire pressure warning comes on. Yeah. And that's the thing I wish I had taken a picture of it, right?
Yeah.
That was the perfect end cap to like almost 3 weeks of travel. And so I, pulled over. I had looked at, I actually, because of I don't really think about flat tires a lot, right?
Right.
This is a problem that doesn't occur as much as it used to. When I was growing up, with all the cars I had in the 1980s, and I worked for a construction company and drove a truck around. I think I fixed flat tires on that truck 3 to 4 times a week. We had a contract with a tire store. I would just drive up with a bed full of flat tires, and they would swap them out and whatever. I used to change flats all the time. It doesn't happen that much, But my head was in this space because of what happened on the trip. I actually visually examined the tires. Anyway, if you have a modern car, you can reset the TPM thing, and it was fine. It was nothing wrong with the tire. But this is the experience we all have. You know what I mean? This is the experience of using technology, isn't it? Isn't it? We connected this morning. You and I recorded a podcast on Friday.
Yep.
Perfect. You welcomed the improved audio and video and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I used the computer a little bit that day. I was gone all day Saturday and much of Sunday, and I did a little bit of. Actually, I did that writing from the road. I didn't do anything on this computer. I didn't touch it. We connected this morning, and the microphone wasn't working. The microphone. Here again, something that was a problem in the past. A problem again. Different computer, different microphone, different setup.
A little bit of gargly goop is what it sounded like
Right.
on this end.
This is like gremlins in the plane. It's like, what's going on? I have a request.
Mm-hmm.
I had asked this to Brad privately, probably on Friday. Let's say Friday.
Yeah, it's around then.
And I do have a little bit more data since that request. Okay. But on Thursday, I should say, the day we flew home, I arranged with Amazon to exchange the microphone that didn't work while we were away. The new one arrived on Thursday, the day we arrived, so it was sitting here waiting at the front door. And on Friday, I decided, before returning the old one, to test the old one on this computer that we're using now. And as I told Brad, it worked perfectly. There's nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
Where it didn't work was with those 2 HP laptops I brought to Mexico. And I thought, that's interesting. I asked Brad, all the obvious questions.
Yep.
And Brad gave all the obvious bits of advice. Is there software you can install? Blah, 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 whatever. There is not, by the way. If you look up this microphone, Audio Technica ATR, blah, 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 whatever it is, there's no software to install. You just plug it in. So I thought, well, the one commonality here was that those 2 laptops were both made by HP. HP has the same software in both. It's called HP Audio Control. When you plug in a microphone, it actually pops up a dialog that says you want to use it for a conference or for personal use. I looked up what those things mean because the dialog does not explain that. Personal just means that it will try to get all the sound from forward, not from around the room, right? Sometimes we have these types of, this particular microphone wouldn't have worked for conference anyway, but a lot of mics do, especially built-in mics and laptops now. So the next review laptop is an Asus ExpertBook, and I thought, well, okay, I'll try it with that. It's garbled and it doesn't even sound like my voice. It's not my voice garbled. It's someone else's voice garbled. That's how garbled it is. It's crazy. It has a different pitch or sound or whatever. Can't understand a freaking thing that's being said. So I guess what I'm asking is if anyone out there has any idea why, when I plug it into this computer, which is a desktop computer, right? There's a little bit of a clue maybe. It works perfectly fine. It sounds as good as this microphone, which is a Heil mic. But when I plug it into now 3 different laptops, I guess I should try a few more different brands. I don't know. It's so garbled as to be, it is completely unusable. If you look up the reviews of this thing on Amazon, no one has mentioned this. No one. People complain about the quality of the stand, which, yes, is garbage. They often compliment it for its sound, which does sound excellent on this one computer. I need it to work everywhere but here. Right? That's the point. Anyway, I'm returning them probably, unless someone has an answer or can maybe Sherlock Holmes this thing for me.
And that's Paul at Thurrott, not help at
Yes,
Thurrott,
actually,
please.
yes, it is. Please let me know, or Twitter at Thurrott if you want to do it that way. However you want to do it. You can do it in the comments to this show on the site. That would be cool too. I'm probably going to just buy a different kind of mic. I had a Sean Healy. I don't know if you know Sean, or he recommended something that he uses that people compliment him on the quality. It's really inexpensive. It's kind of like it's like a bike on a little round stand kind of thing. I just want something that works, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, how's your morning going?
It's going all right. I painted the baseboards that I put down last weekend, and yet again, surprisingly, being bent over all day going like this, my body just hurts in ways that I didn't realize it actually could at the age of 36, but here we are.
Oh. Wow.
Baseboards look... Oh, dude. So I put down brand new baseboards in the house, and part of this, for whatever reason, my wife decided that she was going to clean out my daughter.
What do you mean when you say you put down new baseboard? You mean throughout the house, like everywhere in the house?
So it's everywhere but the bedrooms. So that's kitchen, living room, dining room,
spaces.
Yeah, like all the public spaces.
And what was there before? A different type of baseboard?
Different type of baseboard. So we put in the dining room, I think it's called batten and board or board and batten. I don't know, whatever it is. Something my wife found on Pinterest. It looked nice. So I cut the wood, put it up on the wall. We painted it. And as part of that, I took out the old baseboard, which I think is called Colonial. I might be wrong on that, but it's 1955. Oh, look, there's your Teams message saying you're ready.
Oh yeah, yeah. I am ready. See, that's me saying I'm ready.
Yeah.
Brad asked me at it was 8:58 if I was ready to podcast. I said I was. That was the why.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it is now 12 minutes later. So everything's working great. And you wonder, I just want to live on a desert island in a hut. I don't.
Some nice solar panels out back that just charge the batteries, so at nighttime you can turn the AC on. That's all you need.
Right, I do want AC. That's true. It has to be a temperate island.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Place I can grow sugarcane. Anyway, so Colonial, I ripped it out and I put for people who want to know, technically, it's a 1x5 primed finger joined board. It's just what people use inside their houses. Sounds fancy.
How
whatever.
Is this, how big is it?
Are 1 inch.
Baseboards bigger now?
It's 5 inch.
5 inch, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a modern looking baseboard. And so I did it there, and I actually took like 2 hours and I coped out the edge so it lined up to our old stuff. And then I realized, like, man, I really like that. And this was like 2 weeks ago. So I ended up ripping that board off, just cutting it straight. And I'm putting that 1x5 all around the house. So all done. Looks great. Painted it. And my wife is cleaning out my daughter's closet. And one of the things my daughter had when she was like 3 or something is this little shopping cart. And I hear her running around pushing this thing. And I go upstairs and I'm like, you do not. These baseboards are brand new.
This thing has been sitting in your room unused for 6 years. Yes. And you're telling me today you're going to play with something that is designed to be rammed against the wall?
Exactly. And I'm like sitting there like, no. Like the paint's not even dry on this stuff. And you're running around with a dent machine. So
we were flying home from Mexico City, right? Yeah. And I don't remember the order of things. You go through security and blah, 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 whatever it was. But I don't know. I think it was the morning that Microsoft 365 price increase was coming out, and they were all eating breakfast. And I went and sat outside the restaurant and worked on it and blah, blah, blah. And anyway, we're walking toward the gate. My wife kind of leans into me and she goes, "Hey, I probably shouldn't even tell you this, but just so you know. Kelly went and used the bathroom, and she left her iPhone in there. And
oh, and you just died. Hoping that it's you. Yep. We'll now observe Paul in a solemn stance. Oh, he's back.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there. Anyway, I don't know.
So we got phone left in the bathroom.
Yeah, she's like, it's a bad network quality. It's raining, so, you know.
Oh, I like how that prompt shows up quickly, but the push notification of you being ready is.
It's classic. Anyway, she went back and got it, and it was still there. And I was like, why the hell would you tell me this story? But don't ever tell me things like that. That makes me crazy. So we were sitting at the gate for a while. We had like an hour to kill or more. I don't know. We were sitting there. We're all doing our own things. Kelly's next to me, and I eventually, 30 minutes later, I leaned into her and I was like, I know what you did. I know what you did. Yeah. And she was just like,
That's my kind of parenting. Like that's exactly the way I am. Like you can get mad in the moment or whatever, but it's the better of like 2 hour later follow up when they're not expecting it. That's
exactly.
The hallmark of mental trauma, I think.
because of irony and hypocrisy, we, 2 days later, like I said, drove and stayed in a hotel and came home the next morning, and I left my extension cable on the bed in the hotel. Now, that thing cost $20, and I did use it for 2 years, and I've already ordered a new one. I really, it's huge to have something like this. And and I know now, as I've always known, that everything that's wrong with my kids comes from me. So that's something we all have to live with, I apparently one day I looked in the mirror and said, yeah, you should have kids because look how great you turned out. Is
your son also having microphone issues today by any chance?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God.
Anyway, speaking of things that are going exceptionally well in our lives, if you're planning to play co-op with Halo Infinite or using Forge at launch, you might want to just sit this one out for 3 to 6 months. I mean, you've gone 5 years without a new Halo, I think, something like that. So what's another couple months?
These are core experiences. I don't understand.
The co-op especially.
You had an extra year.
Yeah. What were they going to launch?
This is going to seem like a weird kind of memory, but I always think back to a couple things that are related to this. One is when Netscape kind of came around, and their whole attitude was, it was very common today, but at the time was kind of, unique and weird. It was like, just ship it. We'll fix it later. We're on the internet. We can fix it. We can fix it. And that's how software's just turned into this. Windows is like this now. It's like, Windows 11 is going to ship with some subset of the ideas they had. And over the next year or more, every month, they're going to add a little thing here, a little thing there. And then, someday in 2024 or whatever, we're going to be like, oh, look, it's the Windows 11 thing they were talking about back in 2020.
Android apps that we still don't have.
Yeah. I mean, no, but this is the world now. This was the world when I went out and saw the Xbox 360 before they launched it. And there were a lot of questions. But one of the things they were talking about was the then new ability for game makers to ship updates to their games after the thing had shipped on disk. Because this thing, had a hard drive, and well, I guess the first one did too. But anyway, this was like a new thing. And, I said, aren't you worried that these game makers are going to ship crap and that they're just going to fix it over time later? And he's like, no, we have quality controls in place. It's all, we're not going to let that happen. That's the whole world now.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you downloaded like a 92 gigabyte Call of Duty or whatever game, and then day one there's a 45 gigabyte fix?
Well, look at Cyberpunk. That game launched in December and it's still not fixed.
We put up with so much garbage. If you grew up in the Boston area, you may remember a store called Bradley's, which has been gone for 30 or more years now. And
except
Bradley's
I'm still here.
Oh no,
I know.
Not Bradley, but I mean the store called Bradley's, and retail store, whatever. But I distinctly remember. So this would have been 30 years or more ago. It was a long time ago. It was in a mall, and I was waiting in line to pay for something, and it was taking a long time. And the woman kind of looked at the line and said, "Sorry, computers." And I was like, "Yeah, I do know computers. Why doesn't it work? But see, now, the benefit of age and experience, I know that was actually a pretty profound statement. Computers, for all the ones and zeros and exactness and everything, this stuff never works. It never works. Or it works and then it fails like this morning with the microphone. It's like, what? Brad was like, you should unplug it and plug it in. And I'm like, I will, but why would that do anything? By the way, it fixed it. Right? It hasn't moved. What's going on?